All right, well, we're live, and hopefully we'll get John Brenkus here on the show in a few minutes. I'm doing a little bit of texting, trying to get everything sorted out, and we'll hopefully have a little lunchtime chat with my man John Brenkus. He's been on the show before. We had him on. He was talking about his podcast back the last time he came on. He was in transition, changing to new projects, and he's always got something new. I mean, the man is a creative force. But I guess the main thing I would want to talk to him about today is he's moved across country over to Georgia, and I'm curious as to what inspired that move and where he's looking at creatively for the next thing. Have you guys ever seen John's TED Talk about uh, gender in sports? This is a topic that remains hot because we're redefining what gender in sports is. To what's a man, what's a woman, chemically, physically, all these different things, and then how do you create a somewhat level playing field for folks who are I guess, less than traditional with their gender. And I'm not saying that to be anything other than just trying to illustrate something that's tough to illustrate as we sort it out. And basically, his talk talks about putting men and women on the field, and I fully support this. Like, if you're going to play basketball, there's no reason why you can't play mixed basketball. There's also no reason why you can't have open class competition. So, like, if you're going to play basketball, you have open class, and open class, whatever, the best. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, like who are the best. And then you could have mixed track. Like, is there any reason why you couldn't have mixed 100-meter teams? Where your team competes to see, who has the fastest men, women, whoever in a mixed category. And mixed can include transgender, like I guess you could say the other category. So biological male, biological female, then other, and then have them run. Why not? But in his talk, he talks specifically about the differences between men and women in terms of athletes. And when you look at the day to day person, not someone who's dramatically different because of their level of elite performance, but just like day to day folks, not a whole lot of difference. You really could have men and women competing in a lot of these things together. Like, I mean, is there a reason why a female couldn't be a high school football kicker? I mean, it seems like that's a thing that can happen. And yeah, so he talks about that in his TED Talk, and it's interesting when anytime you get to bring up these topics of conversation that are going to advance where we are as a society. Another news item that came up this week was, the first female graduate from the Q course and is now a special operations soldier, and it's a female. And there's a lot of people that are not sure about this, and they're not sure that women can handle the fight. And I guess it's sort of OBE, overcome by events. It is. It's happened. It's going to continue to happen. But it's also interesting to see, like, is this going to be a failed experiment? My personal feeling from my own experience in conflict zones is that women have done. I mean, in terms of my direct experience, there are good warriors that are female. There are good warriors that are male. Physical fitness is a category. I mean, it for sure matters for certain things, but for the most part, all the female warriors that I've worked with in a variety of very rugged, rough settings, they've performed at a professional level. Do they need to be able to carry 200 pounds on their back? I don't know that any. I don't know that any service member needs to be able to do that for an extended period of time. We have stretchers, we have ways to carry things, we have 2 and 3 man lifts for a reason, well, because heavy things can only be carried so far. So yeah, I'm okay with females in combat. I'm okay with females being on elite teams, and I'm fine with figuring out what that means in terms of physical fitness. We get kind of locked into what physical fitness means for a Green Beret, or, in this case, or whatever it is. But the truth is physical standards have evolved constantly over the history of the service, and if they're able to perform the tasks of the job, I always like to say, and this is kind of snarky, but whatever. Um, I've never been asked to do any push-ups in combat. I've never been asked to like perform the task of carry a man on your back for 200 yards. Like, never been asked to do that. I've just had to do things that are much harder. Make friends with the enemy, find the enemy, meet people that we've never talked to before, find things out before they happen. These are not physical tasks that, oh, you can't do that. When you get to an obstacle like a wall, here's what happens in combat. You get to a wall that you have to get over. There's 100 of you have to get over the wall. You get over the wall. All 100 of you. You help each other out. You might have someone get on all fours and everybody steps on them and goes over until they've done that enough, and the next person does that, and we find a way to get over it. When you come to like a ravine that you have to cross, you pick your way across it little by little you know until you get across it. We had to climb up a draw on a really steep mountain at a very high altitude, and it was a very look for one person to go up it. It's a physically rugged, hard thing to do. Um, but for a patrol, let's say 40 people to go up this thing on very extremely rugged terrain, at a very high angle at altitude that was above 10,000 feet. It took us over an hour. Everybody, for the most part, I don't want to say everybody, but just about everybody had to stop on their way up and catch their breath, because this was a really tough scramble up this hill. We had people that were over 50 years old on this patrol. We had females, we had males. We all made it up. Everybody struggled. It was slow, but we did it. And so when folks talk about the ability of females to perform the job, can you perform the task? Sure. Can you move across an open field with the unit? Sure. I mean, the things that they can't do are so minor, and the things they can do that men can't do, um, easily outweighs that. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this boils down. Let me check my phone here and see if we can determine the status of John coming on the show. We continue to schedule, and he's a busy guy. Scott has called me. Let me call Scott back. We're live on the Break It Down show. Calling Scott. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, I'm live right now, so let me go back to talk to everybody, and then we'll reschedule it for next week sometime. I just, we'll get it done. Okay. All right. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, we're going to have to you probably heard that part, reschedule. This is the thing with live, and unfortunately sometimes we're just hey, thanks, Candace. You're looking good too. Always love to talk to Candy. She's one of my favorite people, and it's always fun. So putting a smile on my face. Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes doing a live show because folks are still getting used to how to do these things, and I guess not everybody understands. Like, I'm trying to run a business here, and when we set a time, gosh, it's a big deal when they don't show up. And I really listen. I appreciate everybody that shows up and watches. I'm doing my best to get these things booked and get them recorded and out the door. Sometimes the schedules don't work, so we're going to try to schedule it for next week and get it done. And I'm looking for it. Look, and I love John Brenkus. I love what he does. I love he created that show, Sports Science. They break down the force and energy and all these different things about sports, like how to catch a ball and what it takes, and impact and all these things. So hopefully next week we'll get a chance to do this again, and we'll put the show out. And if not, I guess we just keep on keeping on, right? We're just going to keep on pushing, keep on trying. Hey, just in general, the Break It Down show always has new stuff. That we already recorded a show today with Elliot Randall, who is from he is a session musician, but he's been in bands like, gosh, there's so many of them, but Steely Dan probably comes to mind, and just a very well-known guitar player. So John and Wes maybe, and it's fun to have Wes come on, because Wes, I feel those you don't know, Wes is from London. He's Belgian, but he lives in London, and he's a music producer, music engineer, and he brings us all these great guests from across the pond. So anytime Wes is on the show, you're going to love it. I haven't watched the episode yet, but I'll be doing that soon. And I guess for right now, another update. This is fun. Nothing to do with anything here, but I'm going to get back into the pool. Our local pool opened up. And I don't know if you guys swim at all or not, but I love it. I love swimming. So I'm going to be throwing down some miles again. Back when the year first started, Brian Tice and I jumped on an Anson Mount, like New Year resolution thing and said we were going to, do this. I think Brian was going to walk a certain amount of miles and I was going to swim a certain amount of miles. Well, I'm a little bit behind because we've had to turn that off for 4.5 months, but I'm going to get back in the pool and start swimming and do my best to take care of myself, and hope you guys all do that too. If I come to your town, because I'm going to be getting on the road here pretty soon and hitting some different spots, let's go for a swim. I'm glad to, wherever I go, take a break and get in the pool and get some exercise. So I guess I'll cut this short unless anybody has any questions while we're talking. We'll get on to the next thing. I'm in the middle of putting all these Prison Chronicles episodes together, and that's going to be a big show. That will come out on time because I'm in charge of that. Nobody else can slow me down. So Prison Chronicles coming out in a couple of weeks, and finally getting that product out, and then working on a couple other bigger projects that will be the next thing. So looking forward to that. Hey, if you've got anybody that you want to have on the show, I'm booking out July and starting to look at August. So authors, movie makers, film, whoever it is, if you got a contact to them, someone neat, that'll be something that you can always do. Take care, Candy. Have a great day. But yeah, you always feel free to hit me up at p@breakitdownshow.com. Let me know who you want to hear on the show. We're glad to go out and pursue them and try to get them. I ask, they say yes a lot, and so we get a lot of great guests. So don't think there's anybody too big, because I don't fear asking, and they tend to say yes. So we'll get some other great guests on coming up here in July and August, and I hope you guys are all well. I'm going to sign off now, but everybody have a great weekend. Hey, everybody. Pete A. Turner, Break It Down Show executive producer. Have a great time.